Hi, how do you guys feel about Pokemon in its current state? Let me know in the comments. I'm talking about on Switch and onwards, right? Let me know. Let me know. But then also while you're down there, leave a like, you know what I'm saying? Hit the like button for the boys, greatly appreciate it, you know? I asked this question because today we're gonna be reacting to a brand new video, Nintendo Switch era Pokemon Retrospective by Giram Red. Now, with the Switch 2 or whatever they're gonna call it coming up really soon, because apparently if you're in the know, you know, a lot of those leakers and rumor guys, they've been like saying like, hey, it's gonna get announced this year. With that coming to, we all know that Pokemon is gonna be on whatever Nintendo console that's coming out, and it won't be that crazy of an upgrade compared to the original Switch. But the Nintendo Switch itself is very interesting, and I wanna know you all's opinions on it. And with that being said, let's just get up into it. The original video in the description section below. Make sure I leave a like and a comment on both joints. Subscribe to him. Check him out, right? And I mean, let's get up into it right now. Let's go.
Hello, fellow Jerry cans. Sorry I was gone for a while,
but
now I'm back to my duty to criticize the stupid cartoon animal collecting franchise. So, were you expecting an in-depth review of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC, Teal Mask, and Indigo Disc? Well, I originally was planning to review those as a video, but the thing is, I don't have much to say about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC. I can just summarize it as, it's just more of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Except for Teal Mask, it's Pokemon SV but it's set in rural Japan for some reason. And for Indigo Disc, it's Pokemon SV but with Unova references and double battle, so it's difficult as crap.
It's a skill issue.
All the strengths and weaknesses of Pokemon SV are there. The exploration and
okay, hold on, wait.
Bad.
I was gonna say something. I was gonna say something.
With peak character design.
You have been replaced.
Excellent music. And acceptable enough decent story. But in a technical sense, the game is still a disaster with terrible graphics and
damn, that's not real. Okay, I have a question. I have a question for all the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet apologists. I love how like you guys, if there's one thing I love about the Scarlet and Violet guys, because for those who don't know, I didn't dislike Scarlet and Violet. It was fun for the most part. I haven't played it since my initial playthrough. And I already have like a final thoughts and final review on it on the channel, but that was like from like years ago. And I'm not paying $30 for a expansion pack that like lets my game run like hell even more. And it's like I wonder how like deprived we are as like Pokemon fans, because watch this, right? My thing about these type of videos is these videos, you know, are very interesting because you can tell, depending on where he's about to go with this, he's either one or two people. He's either the disgruntled Pokemon fan that like outright just doesn't like anything they're doing with the series or whatever, or he's like the coping Pokemon fan who acknowledges the games are really lackluster, but because they're Pokemon, they're fun to them, right? And let me know in the comment section below which one you are for the most part, but I know for certain that this game is a very mixed bag for a lot of people, and I don't really, it's so interesting seeing people defend this game and then being like, I don't care about this, I don't care about that, I don't care about this. But it's like, if we were to ever compare anything else to Pokemon, these things that you don't care about would be the same things that you scrutinize other games for. It's so interesting that Pokemon gets the pass. It's so let's go.
What is this? Discord light mode? Anyways, that's really all I have to say about Teal Mask and Indigo Disc. Basically, it's just more of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. If you enjoyed Paldea, you'll enjoy the DLC. If you hated the main game, you'll hate this DLC too. It doesn't fix anything. So, instead of talking about the DLC, I had another idea. Look, we're coming to an end of an era. It's going to be the end of the Nintendo Switch life cycle soon. 2023 is probably going to be the last full year of the Nintendo Switch as the main Nintendo console, as I find it highly likely there will be a new console in 2024 with the Mew Super Nintendo Switch Boy to XL Entertainment System 64 or whatever. Because of that, I expect Pokemon Scarlet and Violet to be the final mainline Pokemon game on Switch. Maybe I'm wrong and we'll get to Gen 5 remakes next year on Switch, who knows, but I personally find that unlikely.
I think what's gonna happen, I think that like, you know, I think 2024 is the last time the Switch is like even a console. I think that like what's gonna happen is they're going to announce the console itself, and then when they announce the console, they're gonna give you like a release date, and they're still gonna release whatever game comes out. Like you remember back when like Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon came out, and I think at the time the Switch was like just announced a couple months after those games got released, and it came out that same year or whatever. I think what's gonna happen is we're gonna get whatever Pokemon game comes out exclusively, or not exclusively, but they're both gonna come out. There's gonna be like an enhanced version over on this console where it runs better and the performance is crazy, but then over here it's gonna like run like any other Pokemon game has run on the console for the last 6-7 years at this point. And I think that's fair to say, because I don't think the Switch itself as a concept is dead yet. I think that the whole concept of, oh, it's a home handheld hybrid. Okay, cool. Make another one. The Steam Deck is crazy right now. Make another one and make it run like a, I don't know, a PS4, PS5 and your damn thing. There's laptops that run better games than the Switch. Are you serious? Come on, y'all. And its technology is so advanced now. I always think that like we're gonna get the console, the main console. We're gonna keep the Switch for like another year or two, and then they're just gonna like just let it go. They're just gonna let it go, and then like in the next like 3 years, they're gonna like destroy the online connectivity for it, something like that. And then just be able to eShop transfer all your things over to the new Switch console, which I think the Switch is going to be around for a little bit, but it's definitely going to be like the Switch is going to be the Switch Lite compared to the actual whatever comes out this year or whatever comes out next year. You know, I don't know.
After all, I think there's enough fucking Pokemon games on Switch, and many will agree with me on that. Not counting remasters, other video game series had like 2 or 3 mainline games.
I feel assaulted.
Switch, while Pokemon had 4, 5. Do you count DLC as half a game? Then 7. Technically, it's 11 if you count split versions.
There's too many of them.
With all these
Pokemon has
Pokemon games,
11 games if you count the separate versions and the DLC. Stop making this come out every year, bro. Stop, please. I beg.
I think it'll be a good idea to look back at this era of the Pokemon franchise. Look, Pokemon has sold a lot on the Switch. It's still a strong selling series, but no one can deny that the series have been on a turbulent streak of late. Too many games, all the games are half-baked, unfinished, the toxic fandom is out of control, and the general public image of Pokemon's quality is dropping through the floor. Remember how with the Super Mario series, the 3DS and Wii U era was considered the dark age of Mario because of all the uncreative, uninspired New Super Mario Bros. Games? I think in a few years, we'll look back at the Switch era of Pokemon.
Okay, but we gotta have a conversation about like when does quality like become a care? Like I feel like if you cared, you stop buying these games. You know what I'm saying? I feel like if you know, it's like you go into these, it's like you consume these products hoping to be wrong, when Nintendo as a company has shown you time and time again that they want money. There was a time, like he just said, where they were releasing nothing but new Super Mario games, and they sold well. There's a time now where people complain about Pokemon games since Sun and Moon. Have you seen the sales on all the games that have come out recently since Sun and Moon? At what point do you start caring about quality and start actually voting with your wallet, you know? Because these games are still selling amazing. Like it's like we're having a conversation. It goes back to that, like, you know, that whole like, hip hop is like a thing, and trap music and like, you know, all this like low effort microwave music is like really bad, but it's doing really well. There are people that are consuming this at high quantities of consumption, and if you cared so much, you make the stuff, or if not, you make the stuff. Stop buying the stuff, you know what I'm saying? And support the people that you care about more. Like, there's so many underground hip hop artists and so many underground or like really like, you know, third party consoles and companies and games, there's so many people that don't like a lot of the Pokemon clones, quote unquote Pokemon clones, right? There's so many people that don't like Nexomon. There's so many people that don't like Koromon. There's so many people that don't like Temtem or Pal World, or even a Node Heart is somewhat of a monster taming game. There's so many people that look at those games and they're like, oh, they're Pokemon clones. I don't care. But those are the same people that complain about Pokemon and its issues when those issues get fixed in other games. Go support the other games. Nexomon sold 1 million copies. Go support Nexomon Extinction. I'm so serious. I'm in the game. Go support it. If you cared about quality Pokemon games, there are quality monster taming games that have been inspired by mons and or have made strides to make the genre that Pokemon has not even saturated, because they just drop a game. Listen, at what point are we going to start allowing our wallet to be the criticism? You know, that's my question. I'm like 11 minutes in. We're like I'm sorry.
As the dark age of Pokemon, the era where Pokemon games sucked. If the series improves like I hope that is, if Pokemon gets worse somehow, yeah, Switch will become another underrated era like the shitstorm that was Generation 7 or something. So for this video, I just want to go step by step of the Switch era of Pokemon and just go through in chronological order what the Pokemon Company did wrong. What led to Pokemon becoming a buggy, incomplete, mediocre series on the Switch, when other Nintendo franchises like Mario, Zelda, Fire Emblem, Metroid, Kirby reached their series peaks arguably on the same console.
Listen, hey, hear me out. I'm gonna say this right now. You know what's bad when Metroid, a series that hasn't received a game in damn near 2 decades, comes back with a game that is arguably one of the best games in the series. Metroid Dread was amazing. Literally. Kirby Forbidden Land or something like that, for whatever that is, was amazing. We know about Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Like, are we really gonna, like, come on? Like, come on. Somebody get Monolith Soft on Game Freak ASAP. We need more guys on those games if we're gonna do the open world games, bro. It needs to happen.
Rewind time to the time it's rewind time was a meme. That's already 5 years ago? What the fuck?
That's true. That's true.
Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee is an okay game. It actually adds some character to the Kanto region. There's some cute story moments, and somehow it's still the most polished looking and stable Switch Pokemon game.
That's true.
The writing Pokemon gimmick is awesome, and hell, some parts of the game are actually done better than fucking Pokemon Fire Red and Leaf Green.
That's
However,
true.
It's a game no one asked for.
That's true.
No one was asking for another Kanto remake.
That's
especially
true.
When the last 2 games were filled to the brim with lazy Kanto nostalgia baiting. No one wanted a game that was teetering on the line of spin-off material.
That's
no
true.
one wanted a Pokemon game with half the features like abilities missing with casual motion controls.
That's true.
This game purely existed only for business, not for an artistic vision. Pokemon Company noticed that a lot of normie people that don't normally play video games play Pokemon Go on their mobile phones, and some suits said, hey, let's make a crossover between Pokemon Go and the mainline games so we can get normies to try and get into the mainline series. So was born the bastard child between Pokemon Go and Pokemon Yellow version, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. This was meant to be purely baby's first Pokemon game, and it clearly shows. What's crazy is that this game came out pretty late on the Switch because the system was nearing its 2nd birthday. Also, our good old goblin, Snekatsu Ishihara, mentioned in an interview that he thought the Switch would be a failure. Moreover, the game
interesting. I remember that.
Switch last minute. Like the overall feels like something out of Pokemon Sun and Moon, upscaled into HD. Junichi Masuda did mention
but that's all the games. Okay, all right. But that's all the games though. Every single game that you've been playing is literally Sun and Moon models just upscaled with a little bit more polish. These are not anything groundbreaking. The only new about the Pokemon games that I've noticed is like the animations for whatever gimmick they're trying to push to you. These are the same models. These are the same that's not true. They've added some newer models or whatever. Or I guess some new textures. I don't know. These are the same skeletons from the games. These are the same, like, everything. Like these are the same literal everything from those games, just upscaled on a new engine. Like that was one of my favorite things. Is like, I said it before, I say it again. Sun and Moon would be the best Pokemon game on the Switch if it came out on the Switch. Literally. Literally. Because the worst thing about those games that everybody's complaints about was how slow the game was. We know those games are slow based off of limitations in the hardware. So like,
16 when the 3DS was.
I'll be here when y'all start loving Sun and Moon more. I'll be honest with you.
But I feel like the game was gonna be made for 3DS because Pokemon Company didn't have faith on the Switch. But since the Switch was a success commercially and critically, maybe they switched plans last minute and made the stupid 3DS game a Switch game. That might explain why they started this generation with baby's first Pokemon game that was cheap to make, and the next fucking project was put into production last minute, leading to a rushed dumpster fire. That is, of course,
Sun and Moon, Sword and Shield. Now this,
I remember a time when Pokemon.
This is one of the only times you will ever see the world turn their backs on Pokemon. And Game Freak got away with lying. No, the Pokemon Company got away with lying to the masses. And nobody, not a single person cared. Me, on the other hand, I haven't bought a Pokemon game since Oris. Take that how you will.
Fans' biggest whines about the series were minuscule complaints like, oh, Unova has ugly ice cream Pokemon or something. I feel like the fans began to lose goodwill for Game Freak starting in the Series era with the Battle Frontier missing
right here. It's right here. It's right here.
The rushed nature of Generation 7. But I think the final straw that broke the camel's back was Pokemon Sword and Shield's disastrous launch. Pokemon Sword and Shield unveiled on a Nintendo Direct in February 2019. Side note, remember when Pokemon wasn't fucking Directs, not Pokemon Presents? Anyways, the trailer looked okay and most weren't angry at the game or something. But in E3 2019 the same year, in an infamous Nintendo Treehouse livestream, this bombshell dropped.
And so what that means for Pokemon Sword and Shield is that players will be able to transfer their Pokemon from Pokemon Home only if they appear in the Galar region Pokedex.
Thus, outrage controversy was born, especially on internet platforms like Reddit,
it was
Twitter,
bad.
and YouTube. Fights between the Pokemon fandom, between fans who defended the national death cut decision.
It was bad. This was during a time where, if y'all don't remember this, it was crazy. Pokemon fans were on Reddit making YouTube videos. Some of them were attacking developers. That man, Joe Merrick from Cerebi, he got death threats and stuff. It was crazy. There was times where people would hate watch Pokemon just to complain in the comment section. There was a time where like I'd cover like a fan game or a ROM hack or something like that, and somebody in the comments would be like, "Oh, I wish Pokemon would heed to the fans and do this and the third." I'm like, when was that said in the game, in the video at all? What do y'all be watching? You know, like what's going on? And that's when people started to realize that Pokemon was the Call of Duty of kid games. Literally.
And fans who were completely outraged by the news, YouTube's algorithm giving more and more a voice to toxic YouTubers.
And Masuda was nasty,
leading to more toxicity in the fandom, fan movement and signings, cause that always works. What also did not help was Junichi Masuda and Shigeru Omori's terrible interviews. Look, I'm sure Masuda and Omori are nice people, but these guys are buffoons at public relations. Masuda said bullshit quotes like, "We're taking away the national deck so we can focus on higher quality animation, and the game looks like fucking this."
I'll try spinning, that's a good trick.
And Omori ambiguously saying, "We redid all the character models," also did not help. Liar! I personally still hate the national dex cut decision, but whether you agree or disagree with me is a whole nother topic of a video. What's a shame is that even if I did not care about the national dex, Pokemon Sword and Shield could have been a good game, but it wasn't. Out of the mainline original dual release games, this is the worst Pokemon game to me. Like, everything just feels soulless. The game's art style just looks meh, The graphics are terrible, the map design is laughably linear so that it feels like you're on a conveyor belt. The story is terrible and the characters are forgettable. There's too many laughably animated shitty cutscenes. New gimmicks like Gigantamax and wild areas is also horrendous. And the game was just really boring. Pokemon Sword and Shield is one of those few cases where I'm just perplexed on how it sold so much to the mass audience. Like, is the Pokemon brand just that strong?
Yes.
Pokemon basically became the Michael Bay Transformers movies at this point.
Yes.
Fuck quality, everyone ate this shit up for some reason.
Yes.
What's stupider is they had a chance to fix the game with a third version like they usually do, but for the first time, Pokemon decided to switch to releasing DLCs instead of third games. No Pokemon Gun, just some DLC about random side story stuff that has nothing to do with the main Galar storyline. Nothing that fixes the main game's problems. It's just content I didn't give a shit about. I don't know, I never finished the Sword and Shield DLC, maybe it's good, but Sword and Shield was stupendously horrible. I didn't want to play that game ever again. In retrospect, if this game got more...
He's just like me. Yo, I want you to know I hate Sword and Shield so much, bro. I remember when people were playing the DLC, the Crown Tundra DLC. You know what I was doing? I was playing Radical Red. I was not touching those damn games. Yo,
time the oven.
Yo,
it would have been
man.
so much better. Instead of a 2019 release, a 2020 release. Instead of half the team working on the Pokemon Go crowd bait, all hands on deck on Sword and Shield, the real flagship Pokemon games. That would have made the game better. But nope, Pokemon Company got greedy, and they were lazy, rushing and cutting corners. At least the game birthed my catchphrase. To many, Pokemon Sword and Shield was a slap to the face, and I personally know some people who quit being Pokemon fans after the Galar games. Still, there was one thing that could make any diehard Pokemon fan come back to this series, and that is of course, Sinnoh remakes.
yeah.
They couldn't make it worse, right?
Listen, y'all know me. I'm one of Sinnoh's strongest warriors on YouTube. It's documented. I went on a whole hate campaign for this game and Legends Arceus. People unsubscribed to the channel because I was on a hate campaign. People cussed me out, called me N-words. People said so many mean things to me because of these games just for me to be right. Y'all, just for me to be right. Man.
I'm going to say it. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl is the worst game I've ever finished in my life.
All right, that's a little bit too much.
There's probably worse video games I've played, but out of the finished ones, it's the worst game I've ever played.
I definitely got some
do
more.
I have to explain why this game sucks? Just look at it. It looks horrible. The art style is just embarrassingly ugly. Its misguided faithfulness to a horrible source material game is just stupid, because a superior version of that game exists, and it chooses to completely ignore said superior version, while at the same time not being faithful by adding stuff no one asked for, like the forced EXP share. What's so sad is that on paper, this game was a neat idea. Ever since Generation 6, I felt like Game Freak was having trouble scheduling out games and games being left half done, so getting some other developer to make the remakes so they can focus on something else should have been a good idea. But nope, instead Pokemon getting a well-established game studio like Monolith Soft or Bandai Namco to make it, they got some small developer company who's so unknown that they still don't have their Wikipedia page. These guys for BDSP have never made a game on their own before. They were a quote-unquote support company that helped other bigger studios make games, or do porting stuff. This is my very personal but logical speculation, but Pokemon Company probably hired these guys because A, they made Pokemon Home so they're familiar with Pokemon, and B, they could hire them for cheap. Again, it's not about art, it's about the money. Now, you don't need a big budget or a large number of people to make a good game. After all, the next game LCA made, One Piece Odyssey, got a good reception.
Wait a minute. Wait.
Despite-
Whoa. Ilka made One Piece Odyssey? And y'all gave me BDSP? Yo. I am going to lose my mind, bro. Do y'all not listen? I don't give a damn what none of you people say. One Piece Odyssey is the best One Piece game to come out since One Piece Pirate Warriors 4 came out. Then it was World Seeker. Then it was something else. Then it was Odyssey. Yo, y'all got some. Are you Ilka? Ilka, you gotta run me. Like it's over. Yo, you gotta run that. I need the head developers. It gotta be a Pokemon company thing. I don't know. You gotta fight somebody has to see me. Somebody. I will do MMA training. My Thai training to whoever I gotta beat. Yo, there's no way that's real. That's not real. That's not real. That is not real at all. That can't be real. I refuse to believe that that's real, bro.
Them being unknown or less experienced,
Wow.
the people at LCA aren't really at fault here, because someone at Pokemon Company told these guys to make these remakes faithful.
Yeah.
Pokemon BDSP has made the word faithful become almost a absurd F-word slur to me. I get chills when I hear the word even when it means good. Every Pokemon remakes before BDSP weren't faithful to the source material. They removed Pokemon games that included aspects of the original games, but changed things that didn't work, or expanded on ideas to make it a brand new game. LCA was probably planning that too, based on these concept sketches they drew.
These, like, look at, yo. I want you to know, when I first saw these, I was like, wow, this game looks beautiful. There's no
remakes they imagined,
bro.
And this is what we
got.
We got no cool new reimagining of Sinnoh locations or characters. We got Cyrus or any of the characters doing nothing new. You got Giratina sitting on its ass in a cave. No distortion world. I could go on and on, but I feel like repeating myself too much. I already did an hour-long rant on the game in the past. What I will say is that this game killed a lot of people who grew up with the Sinnoh games' interest in the franchise, and it's a shame too.
Okay, so I said this before on Twitter, and I'll say it again right now. Playing through BDSP made me realize how much I liked Platinum and not Generation 4, because while I do love Heart Gold and Soul Silver, I think that those games don't really fix much of the Johto problems. I think they just add on to things that make Johto the best what could have been, like, series, right? Or best what could have been part of the franchise. And Platinum is the star of Generation 4. It's the truth. And then if you want to count spin-off titles, that's where, like, the Explorers of Time and whatever Space or Sky, that's where the Shadows of Almia games come out. Like, they made some of their best spin-off franchises in Generation 4. Generation 4, the star of the mainline series games is Pokemon Platinum. And then if you're a Johto guy, Heart Gold and Soul Silver. But Diamond and Pearl really aren't good games.
This is a true story, by the way. Like, I had a friend who never touched gaming after the DS as a kid, and he said he was willing to buy the Switch if the Sinnoh remakes came out on the Switch.
Yep.
Suffice to say, he never bought the system.
I had a friend like that too. I had a friend like that too. We all got somebody that like that.
Many often call Legends Arceus the best Pokemon game on Switch. Even people who hate Pokemon after everything that's happened say Legends Arceus was okay. Well, Contrarian Jerry Kent here with the favorite take of saying,
I disagree.
It's my belief that people who like this game are Pokemon fans who only play Pokemon games and never actually played a non-Pokemon game, especially action-adventure games. Pokemon Legends Arceus is just a tech demo, not a full complete game.
I agree.
A tech demo of real-time Pokemon catching with the entire money and effort going into it. No interesting world exploration at all, because everything is an open field of nothing with random Pokemon just wandering around. Other sandbox adventure games include fun puzzle solving, dungeon clearing, side quests that aren't fetch quests, fun mini games, collectibles to collect, and interesting narrative to follow. Legends Arceus either have none of these or they're embarrassingly primitive. The only interesting aspect of this game is the catching mechanic and the setting. Everything is hollow. The story is horrible and I don't even remember it. The characters are forgettable. The side quests are all fetch quests.
Nah. No, this game has Volo, bro. Volo is probably one of the more recognizable Pokemon characters in the last couple of years. I think Volo, and then like, well, it's obviously because he's related to Cynthia, but like that's a big thing too, where it's like, oh, Cynthia's this good character, Volo's not a good character. Like it's we like, and then the boss fight went viral. You know what I'm saying? Like Volo is like that guy. I do agree though. I do think that if you like start comparing Legends Arceus to other action semi-open world or just open world games in general, it is one of the more like bottom of the barrel. It is definitely bottom of the barrel. I think that Legends Arceus, when you played BDSP and then Sword and Shield, like one after another, I think for me what it was it definitely was a breath of fresh air, because I feel like if they were to like expound upon Legends Arceus as a concept, we could get somewhere crazy. But I think that, I don't know, we got Scarlet and Violet. I'll just keep going. It's fine.
And all of them are horribly done with laughably terrible animation. I still can't believe the main hub town, Juve's Life Village, is a barren ghost town. Every NPC just stands around like zombies. Not a single one moves in this village without even an idle animation. Children just sit around. And you call this a good game? Oh, but Giratina showed up at the end with the origin form in a cool fight with Cynthia's ancestor as the twist villain.
That's the end of the game.
I clapped when I saw it.
Pokemon fans might be the most impressionable fans on the planet. Oh my god, something that I recognized from my childhood. Gulp shit till origin form showed up. This was bare minimum Game Freak could have done and people were blown away by it. Basically sums up Pokemon in the game. Bare minimum and people think it's the second coming of Arceus. Anyways, this game fucking sucks. I never want to play another experiment.
That's disingenuous. I feel like because a lot of people will still sit there and they'll tell you, oh yeah, Area Zero is the best part of Scarlet and Violet. That's the last hour of the game. You know what I'm saying? This part is still the best part of this game, despite it being the last part of the game. Now, would we like if the entire game was like a Volo moment in terms of like quality of the cutscene or like some type of suspenseful drop or maybe like a crazy turn in music? Sure. But I think when you look at, because you're right? Pokemon fans are impressionable. Pokemon fans do like, they do consume lackluster content and think it's like this, but it's like when you are playing Pokemon, you're used to ass anyway. So if you're used to ass, shit, something is good. You know what I'm saying? And if this one moment is the pivotal moment for them, especially since, like I said, in Scarlet and Violet, people, I sit here and I tell you, Arven is the best thing about Scarlet and Violet. And it all comes to fruition in the Area Zero part of the game. That's the last hour of the game. So what does that tell you about the rest of the game? The rest of the 20 hours? The rest of the 15 hours? You know? Hey, I don't know. I don't know.
I'd rather play a real game. I'm so pissed they went with this route. Instead of getting someone else to do a cheap remake and making some experiment shit, why not just make a classic Pokemon remake with the Sinnoh region in the style of Oras or Heart Gold and Soul Silver? I feel like either Pokemon Company or Game Freak's over-ambition backfired here. Game Freak should have stuck to their speciality, making 2D style turn-based RPG with simple story and characters. They saw the success of Breath of the Wild.
Wait. See now what you just said recontextualizes the Pokemon fan that you are. And okay. All right. What I mean by it recontextualizes everything that you've been saying, I want to say that complaint has been the same complaint since X and Y came out, right? And at some point for me, I always wondered, if you don't like something, why are you consuming it, right? Pokemon has been 3D for what, 10 years now, 11 years now, and you're still playing it? If you didn't like X and Y, well, that's not true. He probably had good faith that like they would have probably been better. I don't know. There's a way to look at that, and I genuinely I do get what he's going for. I understand it, but saying what he just said adds so much like background to who's speaking. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
Out and Link's Awakening on Switch, and wanted to make 2 ripoffs alongside it, and both were crap. I wanted a real game. They could have made a real game. Instead, on top of getting someone else to make a cheap remake, Game Freak chose to make 2 incomplete games at the same time. Because literally a month after this game came out, the next game, Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, was revealed. Literally a month later. We literally got 3 Pokemon games in the duration of 1 year span.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next products.
Yeah.
In interviews, the developers admitted Scarlet and Violet was developed alongside Legends Arceus. I'll say it, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Pokemon Legends Arceus should have been one game. Combine the open sandbox real-time catching element of Legends Arceus and the open world storytelling structure of Scarlet and Violet, and boom, you get an actual complete Pokemon game.
That's what bro, oh my god, bro. I said this, okay, so when I got Scarlet and Violet early, I played the game and I beat it. There's a video on my YouTube channel. I'm gonna link it right now. It's called Let's Create the Best Pokemon Game. And it's literally this exact same sentiment. It's like, yo, literally, take what you had here, add it to this.
But they didn't do that. Pokemon Company is on the delusion that they have to start a new generation every 3 years. Why? Why the fuck does these games coexist? Before you answer it, the question is rhetorical and I know the answer. Greed. What we ended up with is 1 empty beta test for a game concept and 1 game that runs like crap and buggy as hell. What's shameful is that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet I enjoyed a lot. It's the most fun I've had with a Pokemon game since Pokemon Sun and Moon. Like, the story was actually pretty good, Paldea has one of the best cast of characters in the series, the game's art style, when it's working, I did like. New gimmicks like Terrestrialization and Paradox Pokemon were also really fun. Hell, Sprigatito is one of my favorite Pokemon of all time now. The problem is, it's the Pokemon game that gave Pokemon the image of a buggy franchise. Except for BDSP, which wasn't made by Game Freak and the early Game Boy days, Pokemon games weren't considered buggy. Pokemon games were sometimes rushed and incomplete, but they never felt buggy. Scarlet and Violet made the bar lower by making bugs and unstable gameplay the norm for Pokemon. Does Game Freak really want to benchmark Todd Howard and Bethesda Studios? Again, if Scarlet and Violet didn't come out in 2022 when there was already a Pokemon game release, or Legends Arceus didn't exist and Game Freak could focus only on the Paldea games, or Game Freak just combined Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet into one game, an open world Hisui game with gyms and Pokemon League. 1 generation on a console is enough, especially when video games are costing more money and time to make. We're not on the DS and 3DS anymore. Pokemon isn't some handheld simple game series now. Pokemon is currently on the same level of expectations as other AAA games on the Switch. I think I'm repeating this phrase for the 50th time, but it's a damn shame because the devs at
That's the thing about it though. I think that Pokemon fans don't agree with you. I think Pokemon fans see Pokemon as something else entirely. And it's like, oh, they're not Pokemon, it's not Zelda, it's not Mario, it's not Metroid, it's not like Kirby, but it's like, why? You're paying $60 to $70 for this, $30 for a DLC, and then you have the nerve to say it's not the same? Why is it not the same? Why? Why?
Freak, I think, had a nice vision for Paldea. This is a clip from some spin-off music material that featured the game's story with Paldea and its characters. This is, I think, what the devs were trying to make. A colorful, beautiful open-world Pokemon game set in a romanticized version of Spain, Portugal with interesting characters and a deep story. But instead of this, the actual reality of the game is this.
Couldn't they have tried making one good game as opposed to 2 horrible games? Quality over quantity. That's our lesson here.
And here it is.
This might be the saltiest thing I'll ever say on this channel, so be prepared. We can't just talk about the games on Switch, because we have to look at the big picture. And that is how the Pokemon franchise has changed during the Switch era. It also explains why Pokemon has dropped the ball with quality control in the mainline series. I mentioned this briefly in my How Pokemon Has Become a Corporate Brand video, but the Switch era of Pokemon will also be remembered as the age when the franchise changed. The fundamental business model of Pokemon has changed. Talking about Pokemon spin-offs is the easiest way to show how Pokemon has changed. Pokemon has stopped trying to make quality spin-offs with actual games. With the exception of Pokemon Snap and the Mystery Dungeon remake, there's not a Pokemon spin-off game I would call a real game. Like, we got the mobile Pokemon Gacha game for lifeless weaves, some cafe minigame for those grandmas who love Animal Crossing, League of Legends ripoff for the Chinese audience partnered with Tencent, more shitty Detective Pikachu game so there is more source material for a Ryan Reynolds starring feature movie. I blame Pokemon Go's success for Pokemon doing all these games. It seems like Pokemon Company is trying to turn Pokemon into something more than a children's franchise on Nintendo consoles. Pokemon Switch era will be remembered as the time it lost its most loyal fans, but will also be remembered as the time Pokemon went mainstream. The time Pokemon went from an otaku video game series kids played on their toy consoles to a brand where they can get big name celebrities like Post Malone and Ed Sheeran to sing songs for them. Pokemon trying to become a brand and more than just a Nintendo game franchise is shown with those Pokemon Presents videos. Don't believe me? This is the biggest indicator. Back in the past, Pokemon games were featured on Nintendo Directs or Pokemon Directs, but nowadays they've rebranded live presentations to Pokemon Presents so they can talk about non-Nintendo related mobile game shit no Nintendo gamer would care about for half the duration of these videos.
That's true. No, that is true. Pokemon Go has done irreparable damage to Pokemon as a whole, but in like the best way possible. Because I guess now it's mainstream now and it's cool. But I think that I just died on the inside. Oh my god. I think that. They've tried to monetize Pokemon so much so and separate it from Nintendo so much so where it's like, yeah, we release on Nintendo, but we don't really rock with them guys like that. You know, they get a cut. You know, they get a cut, you know? But it's like, okay, cool. You know, Pokemon Presents. Here's 30 minutes of Pokemon Unite, Pokemon Cafe, Pokemon Go, a new Pokemon spinoff. Then at the end, it's the reveal of whatever game they're working on or whatever main series Pokemon game. Because that's it. Like that's what you want to see. Here you go. You know, it's the truth.
After 2019, it seems like the sole reason why the mainline Pokemon games exist right now is just so that there can be a new region every 3 years. A new region with new Pokemon and characters that Pokemon Company can sell products on. From simple merchandise from plushies to digital gacha and Tencent gaming, Pokemon has really devolved from a Nintendo game franchise to a brand. Now, I must make it very clear, I'm not against merchandising. All my other favorite media franchises are very into merchandising. Hell, Pokemon has always been into merchandising ever since its conception. Pokemon started as a fanatic fad of toys and merchandise in 90s Pokemania. I love Pokemon products and plushies just like any person. But Pokemon.
Okay, hold on, wait a minute. I see them New Balances on you, shorty. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Let's just go.
Annoys me these days because the merchandise in Pokemon no longer feels like the byproduct of the games. It feels like the mainline Pokemon games just exist to make more merchandise and make money off spin-offs.
They do.
Like Generation 1 to 6, I didn't mind the merchandise because the games were okay to good. But now? Who cares if the mainline games are buggy, rushed, or mediocre? As long as it serves its purpose to make new regions, characters, and Pokemon to sell, the game quality does not matter at all. That's also why they have the money to hire Post Malone and Ed Sheeran to market the game, but no time and money to hire actual voice actors for these games. Pokemon products can be shown to the normies who like these singers, but there's not enough money and time to invest in quality control of the main games. That's also why, even though there was already a Switch Pokemon game in 2022, they had to make another mainline game so there could be a new generation every 3 years. Jesus Christ, the release window of these games are so fast, the manga writers can't keep up.
Yeah.
To show what kind of madness this business model is, let's insert the current Pokemon business model to another video game series. Let's say Mr. King of Video Games Mario. Imagine if Nintendo rushed out Mario games half complete every year, so they can sell more Mario merchandise. Imagine Super Mario Bros. Wonder, an excellent video game with 0 bugs, runs like butter, one of the best Mario games I've ever played. Let's imagine Super Mario Bros. Wonder being rushed by the higher-ups so they can release
People
it in time
love this
for
game.
the
I still haven't
Christmas
played it.
Mario
I want to
movie,
play it though.
or they release the games just so Nintendo has an excuse to build the Super Nintendo World section in Universal. Would that be acceptable to you? The reason why I love Mario expanding merchandise out of the mainline games is because Mario hasn't forgotten the mainline series. There's still quality control and Switch has many great Mario games on it. On the other hand, Pokemon? There aren't any. In my personal humble opinion, the reason why Pokemon kept its popularity going even after the end of 90s Pokemania was the existence of quality games. Other monster collecting franchises like Digimon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Yokai Watch never really caught on and faded into obscurity because they didn't have mega hit games like Pokemon did. Kids played these games on their Game Boy Advance and DS growing up, becoming lifelong Pokemon fans. This has now changed. Pokemon has now become too mainstream, and even though the games still sell well, the main series has lost its way and dropped the ball with quality. If this continues, who knows what will happen to the next generation of Pokemon when good games no longer exist. Younger kids are more interested in something like Fortnite, and all we have is low quality gacha games and toys.
They already are.
In the long run, Pokemon is incurring a great loss by
They already are.
profit.
They already are. Did y'all know? And we gotta have a conversation. They already are. They already are. Like, they are. Pope. Do y'all not realize, like, even on YouTube, like, kids, most of the kids aren't watching Pokemon. They're watching Fortnite. They're watching Fortnite and Minecraft. Like, we love Pokemon, sure, but any Pokemon fan that I've met has been either an adult or an adult that, like, puts it on to their kids. I put Brendan on the Pokemon, and he was he didn't even touch those games. He played Breath of the Wild first. He played Link to the Past, whatever the ones on the 3DS is. He's not. Kids are playing Fortnite. They're playing shooters. They're playing Minecraft. Like, it's already started. If anything, it's already started. It's already kind of happened. You know. Who knows, man? This is a really good video for discussion.
Despite everything I said about the developers' incompetence, the company's greed, the game's mediocreness, I still see the Nintendo Switch era of Pokemon as an era of missed opportunities and very frustrating. You see, Pokemon is not bad enough to be unplayable. All these games except BDSP aren't Superman 64 or Balan Wonderworld or the recent Gollum game bad. They're just very mediocre when they could have been so much more, and that's why they're so frustrating. Like, I think the people at Game Freak have a clear vision of what they want to achieve when making a Pokemon game. I can tell they're still trying to keep children and fans pleased. How? Well, everything that has nothing to do with the technicality of the game, such as the quality of the 2D art like character design and concept art, the music especially, does not match the quality of the game itself. What I'm saying is, I think Game Freak always had good ingredients to cook up a good game. But because of the rushed production order by the higher ups at Pokemon Company to follow an impossible schedule, the result is a series of unwarranted, mediocre, buggy, and just not fun games. So I want to end the video by saying we're at the crossroads. For the next era of Pokemon games, what will happen? Will Game Freaks improve with their mainline games? Well, I don't see the Pokemon Company changing their greedy business model anytime soon, but that doesn't mean they have to make bad games. They can just hire more people and put in more effort, who knows. And I'll admit there was some improvement. Pokemon SV was much better than Sword and Shield, except for the bugs. I'm an optimist. I do still think Pokemon can improve, but that can be proven wrong. Pokemon could go the other way. Since the companies is on the basis of it will sell anyways mindset and all the Switch Pokemon games sold very well, maybe this shitstorm will continue. Generation 10 will be another buggy mess, and the Unova remakes will ruin the childhood of many man-children across the world. The choice is yours, Game Freak and Pokemon Company. I leave it entirely in your hands.
This was a beautiful video.
God, I always want to end a video with a DC reference. Oh, and people might be curious about my ranking of all Switch Pokemon games from bottom to top. It goes from BDSP, Sword and Shield, Legends Arceus, Let's Go games, and Scarlet and Violet. All our favorite games though.
That was a really good video. That was phenomenal. This video is like, what, an hour long? Thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoy. Leave a like and a comment. Go check out the original video. Go subscribe to him, please. That was beautiful. That was a beautiful video. That was great. That was phenomenal. That made me horny.